Alrighty, now we are on Psalm 78, a Maskil of Asaph. It always spells ASAP as in as soon as possible. Oh great, I can't read the whole entire thing because it's too long. Okay. My people, listen to my teaching. Pay attention to what I say. I will open my mouth and tell the story. I will speak about things that were hidden. They happened a long time ago. We have heard about them and we know them. Page turn. Our people who live before us have told us about them. We won't hide them from our children. We will tell them to those who live after us. We will tell them what the Lord has done that is worthy of praise. We will talk about his power and the wonderful things he has done. He gave laws to the people of Jacob. He gave Israel their law. He commanded our people who live before us to teach his laws to their children, and those born later would know his laws. Even their children yet to come would know them, and they in turn would tell their children. Then they would put their trust in God. They would not forget what had been done. They would obey his commands. They would not be like their people who lived long ago. Those people were stubborn. They refused to obey God. They turned away from him. The spirits were not faithful to him. The soldiers of Ephraim were armed with bows, but they ran away on the day of battle. They didn't keep the covenant God made with them. They refused to live by this law. They forgot what he had done. They didn't remember the wonders he had shown them. I'm making sure the timer's still going. It felt like it stopped. He did miracles right in front of their people who lived long ago. At the time, they were living in Egypt in the area of Zoan. God parted the Red Sea and led them through it. He made the water stand up like a wall. He guided them with the cloud during the day. He led them with a light of fire all night long. He broke the rocks open in the desert, and he gave them as much water as there is in the ocean. He brought streams out of a rocky cliff. He made water flow down like rivers, but they continued to sin against him. In the desert, they refused to obey the Most High God. They were stubborn and tested God. They ordered him to give them the food they wanted. They spoke against God. They said, Can God really put food on the table in the desert? Is it true that he struck the rock and the streams of water poured out? Huge amount of water flowed down, but can he also give us bread? Can he supply meat for his people? When the Lord heard what they said, he was very angry. His anger broke out like fire against the people of Jacob. He became very angry with Israel. That was because they didn't believe in God. They didn't trust in his power to save them. But he gave a command to the skies above. He opened the doors of the heavens, and he rained down manna for the people to eat. He gave them the grain of heaven. Mere human beings ate the bread of angels, and he sent them all the food they could eat. He made the east wind blow from the heavens. By his power he caused the south wind to blow. He rained down meat on them like dust. He sent them birds like sand on the seashore. He made the birds come down inside their camp. The birds fell all around their tents. People ate until they couldn't eat anymore. He gave them what they had wanted, but even before they had finished eating, God acted. He did it while the food was still in their mouths. His anger rose up against them. He put to death the strongest among them. He struck down Israel's young men. But even after all that, they kept on sinning. Even after the wonderful things he had done, they still didn't believe. So he brought their days to an end like a puff of smoke. He ended their years with terror. Every time God killed some of them, the others would seek him. They gladly turned back to him. They remembered that God was their rock. They remembered that God Most High had set them free, but they didn't mean it when they praised him. They lied to him when they spoke. They turned away from him. Oh wow, this is really a long one. pages are stuck together and that's not it? Oh. I think I'm going to just like stop there. They weren't faithful to the covenant he made with them, but he was full of tender love. He forgave their sins and didn't destroy his people. Time after time, he held back his anger. He didn't let all the burning anger blaze out. He remembered that they were only human. He remembered that they were only a breath of air that drifts by and doesn't return. How often they refused to obey him in the desert. How often they caused him sorrow in that dry and empty land. Again and again they tested God. They made the Holy One of Israel sad and angry. They didn't remember his power. They forgot the day he set them free from those who had treated them so badly. They forgot how he had shown them his signs in Egypt. They forgot his miracles in the area of Zoan. He turned the river of Egypt into blood. The people of Egypt couldn't drink water from their streams. He sent large numbers of flies that bit them. He sent frogs that destroyed their land. He gave their crops to the grasshoppers. He gave their food to locusts. He destroyed their vines with hail, and he destroyed their fig trees with sleet. He killed their cattle with hail. The livestock were struck by lightning. Because he was so angry with Egypt, he caused them to have great trouble. In his great anger, he sent destroying angels against them. God prepared a path for his anger. He didn't spare their lives. He gave them over to the plague. He killed the oldest son of each family in Egypt, and he struck down the oldest son in every house in the land of Ham. And I'm going to stop right there because there's plenty more to read. So I'm stopping after verse 51, and we'll finish that one tomorrow as well. Okay, so tonight I'll be back for our Bible study. What a day. So we'll be back to do our Bible study later. I don't know. The sad part is that study comes with all these videos, but I'm assuming that it's just like a recreation of the Bible verses I read at the end anyways, because that's what it's about. But yeah, we'll just have to be patient with that, and hopefully it's helping some people understanding. I don't know. I think that we should pray for understanding every time we start that study. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here. See you tonight. Bye for now.